Welcome back, dudes. So January 29th, Titan Striker and a ton of other stuff in game is being buffed, but we're going to build for the Titan Striker, figure out the most universal setup you can have that'll basically benefit everything that's happening on the 29th. And if you read about it, you will read this. Terminal velocity, there's now 3 tiers of hang time. The amount of hang time for each tier has been reworked. Each tier of hang time causes 4 damaging shocks instead of 3, and the higher up off the ground you are, the mobility basically, the more damage this class will do. And then also trample, which is a part of the bottom subclass tree. That's usually when you use R1 or your melee button to basically smash and melee through adds. That has been reduced. It doesn't cost near the amount of super anymore, and it's used more of a mobility tool to get from point A to point B to keep more speed going to get to more adds. And then the more you smash this class, the longer the super is going to last, similar to bottom tree Warlock using the swords. Now, let's look at all the subclass trees, such as Seismic Strike. You got an Arc Explosion on melee. It's when you run, you charge it, you hit the melee button, and it blows them up. And then on top of that, you have Aftershock, so when you kill somebody with that, it recharges half of your grenade, not counting any other grenade charge buffs. You also have Ballistic Slam, which is the mid tree. It's when you leap into the air, hit the melee button, and he does a Titan Smash towards the ground. You also get Impact Conversion with that charges your super the more ads you kill with that. And then bottom tree, you have Reversal, where melee kills trigger the health regeneration. You have Frontal Assault, which striking an enemy, it reloads the weapon and causes weapon stability for a short time. And then you have Knockout, which means basically if you damage a guy or damage their shield, you get more melee range and damage. So a lot of cool things to build for there. Now that we know all the key points for all the subclass perks on all the trees, now let's go to the armor and let's build for it perfectly so it benefits you in every single way in combat. You probably predicted it, but yes, Insurmountable Skull Fort, the helmet, 111 on the stats. Arc melee kills grant health recovery and melee energy, and what that means is every charged melee kill you get gives you your health back and gives you that melee back so you can keep spamming it over and over. Throw a grenade charge mod on it, use hands-on so melee kills charge super, which also stacks with the impact conversion, which is part of the subclass as well, and then whatever bottom tree you want for whatever weapon type you're going to be using to refill the ammo. This helmet's all about up-close aggression, so if you're not an aggressive fighter, it forces you to be because it's so much fun, and that's how you get the most benefit out of wearing this armor. Super insane. Here's the Ballistic Slam, also mixing with the Impact Conversion, getting that super energy back, and then at the hands-on, you get even more super stacked with that. But yeah, get out of any situation, get the melee back, crush all these dudes. I didn't know what it was that didn't make me like this subclass before with the Insurmountable helmet until I started playing with the builds, and now it's fully tuned and I definitely love it over my Sentinel build. Here's the bottom tree. You have to be careful with the bottom tree because like I said, it heals you on a melee and it reloads your weapon, but if you spam 3 melee attacks back to back to back, it will take the melee away and cause you to recharge it. So be mindful of that if you choose to go bottom tree on it. I definitely like it a lot more than I used to like it, especially with the Insurmountable, getting that health back and the reload. If you're using any kind of slower reload weapon such as a better Devils or any heavy weapon, a shotgun, getting that last second reload and health back can be really crucial in life or death when you're doing anything such as a Nightfall or a raid or anything in general, not counting Code of the Juggernaut, extending the super, especially with the trample, letting you speed through and keeping that mobility up to get from ad to ad and keep the super procced. So Insurmountable Skull Fort, definitely a staple, as well as all the other armor pieces and perks you're going to see going forward. The arms. This was the most difficult time that I had with the build. Do I need to go Enhanced Impact Induction or do I need to use Momentum Transfer? And that was one thing that I tested probably the most. And the reason why is because the melee is so crucial in this from getting it back, so it made sense to go Momentum Transfer. But then when I would use that, I realized that I didn't have a nade as much as I thought I would, and then I would go back and use the Enhanced Impact Induction or Impact Induction, whether I'm using my Warlock with the Enhanced or the Titan with the regular Impact. Either way, 4 seconds off per melee hit versus 8 seconds off with the enhanced version. So if you have enhanced, obviously go with that. But the reason why I chose Impact Induction is because it's those raw survival moments when you have nothing else left but a melee that doesn't cost any energy basically. You can just melee anybody, and getting those grenades back offered and opened up more doors for opportunity to get away, to do more damage, for more just tactics to have. And if I'm going to use Insurmountable Skull Fort, it's up to me as a player to be strategic when I use it and not just waste it on an enemy that I know I'm not going to get the melee back on. So that's just a part of just knowing your build and knowing your gameplay in general, and that's why I chose to have more grenades over the more melee, just because I'm already getting a ton of melees with the helmet. helmet, but the grenade can go away, and getting that back is just a part of combat as anything else with this build is. So grenades are really useful in any build, and that's why I chose that over the momentum transfer. So enhanced impact induction for the arms, 0 mobility, a 2 recovery, use an impact mod that takes you 20 seconds off from a minute 20 down to 1 minute, and then whatever bottom tree you want to use for whatever ammo type you're going to be using. But as you see here, seismic, aftershock, ballistic slam, the reversal, the frontal assault, all of these go towards and build with the impact induction. So no matter if you're doing it with the aftershock, getting the grenade there, you're also proccing it on top of the impact induction. Then you have the seismic strike, you have the ballistic slam, all these different types of melee. It just goes hand in hand with the insurmountable skull fort and keeps those nades coming back. And also you have the grenade charge mod on the insurmountable skull fort. So you're going to get really fast grenades with this that open up more opportunities for more damage and just more strategic fighting when you're trying to go rough and aggressive. Alright, let's move on to the last 3 pieces, the chest, the leg, and the mark. So the chest piece is going to be 2 mobility, 1 resilience, a 2 recovery chest piece. Throw the mobility mod on it that brings you that 2 mobility, and then use whatever perks that match whatever gun type you're trying to use. And for your legs, you're going to do a 4 mobility, 1 recovery. That's going to be with traction and the mobility mod. So what traction does is it adds 1 more on the stat of the piece that it's on, but it doesn't include the hidden mobility stat that's actually on your mobility stat number. So if it says you have 7 mobility and you're wearing traction, it's actually 8 mobility. I've proven that so many times in other videos, and I'm not going to waste my breath explaining it again. Just trust what I'm saying. It's an 8-3-7 build with this Titan build. And your mark with the recovery mod have recuperation. That's what puts you at 7 recovery, and then whatever reserves or scavenger you want to use. But make sure that you're using recuperation, because most people are using all masterwork weapons nowadays, which means if you get double kills, it gives you an orb, and when you touch that orb, you get your health back. You don't have to wait on it to charge back, which is what better already will do. Recuperation automatically puts the health back without having to wait on the charge time of it. And that is how you get to 837 with the last 3 pieces of the armor. Copy this stuff, and I promise you, you will beast like no other with any art subclass tree. I'm one of the very few people who will tell you and stress the power of high mobility in PvE combat. Your gameplay will become so much more smooth, and I know the argument against people saying don't use it is because they want to Titan skate or Warlock skate or whatever they're trying to do. I'm telling you, I have no problems going fast with a Titan, and the higher my mobility, the more seamless and more smooth my gameplay becomes. And if you want to watch my power of mobility video, I'm not going to talk about it too much in here because I have a whole nother video dedicated to mobility. Just trust me on that. Once you go with high mobility, if you've never tried it, you will see how much better your gameplay becomes, how many more access points you have in combat. You're able to get off the ground a lot higher, a lot faster. So if you have a knight slamming a sword down at you or an axe or whatever, you're able to hit the ground and get off the ground much quicker to not take as much damage. Your natural tap of jump, just when you tap it, not the full jump, is a lot higher. Things like that can proc enemies to actually shoot higher than you're actually going because of the level you hit when you're at that much mobility. It triggers the AI to react differently to you during the combat. It gets pretty deep, but I highly recommend checking out that video if you want to learn more about mobility. I even show a 1 versus an 8 mobility test just walking, and it's like a sprint in comparison. So if you're worried about like Titan skating or Warlock skating, that's cool and all, but if you want to have just better and more seamless and just fluent gameplay, high mobility is going to offer that, and it's really key to have in all my builds. And with all the buff updates happening and just the build in general, every bit of this supports it the best that it can support it. If you're trying to stack all kinds of melee mods or grenade mods or do other stuff, I promise you, I've tried all that stuff and you're seriously just wasting mods on nothing. When you factor in the time of charge reduction you get from the perks in your armor and just overall killing stuff that contributes to your super ability, you're only getting around 3 seconds when you stack grenade charge mods. You're only getting around 10 to 15 seconds when you stack 4 super mods. So it's not really that much of a game changer versus what the build and the other perks are doing for you. It's really unnecessary in PvE to stack anything, because when you factor in all the recharge abilities from other things, it just doesn't really help out that much. And I also have videos showing you what I mean by that when I tried out 3 grenade mods versus no grenades mods just using the impact induction, and how over time the regular impact induction saves you 25 more seconds, enhanced saves you 50 seconds, and then when you're stacking mods and you factor in a bunch of melees, having 3 grenade charge mods only saves you 3 seconds when it comes to what the impact induction does for you. So like I said, in PvE, stacking your mods is not necessary, and the way that Titan stat armor is geared up, they kind of leave it to where you really got to choose what really matters in a build, and everything on this build, the 8, the 3, the 7 recovery, those stats are perfectly tuned to the update to get that height, to get terminal velocity going. You got your strafing abilities, your overall just jump height in general. You have great points to get to, higher locations to get to. You can dodge all the AI better. You could even proc the insurmountable skull fort charge to do your melee a little bit faster when you hit 8 mobility, and that was one thing that I figured out, because I used to run 7 mobility, but then I put it on 8 because I was just like, whatever, I doubt this is really going to do anything. But oh my god, dude, it really does make a difference in how fast you get that melee back to keep running and meleeing and proccing the insurmountable skull fort. I don't know what it is about the 8 mobility, but trust me on that, you will see yourself being able to do it about a half second faster than if you don't have it. And that was what I always hated about insurmountable, was because I would see people using it, or I would try to use it, and I would just get my ads like cleared out from under me while I'm trying to run around and charge that melee, and the 8 mobility just takes care of all that shit. So trust what I mean when I'm telling you that. I know a lot of comments and stuff are going to be in this video talking about, oh, I use this, I use that. I promise you, whatever you're going to tell me you used, I did try it out, and it just doesn't match up to what I have. This is perfectly tailored to what you need to have for PvE combat when you want to get high ass kill numbers, survive, and just wreck to your full heart's content. So trust me on that, dudes. If you ever have an issue like that when you're falling down towards an enemy, that's another thing traction will help you with to kind of negate that from happening. If that ever does happen, you're falling towards a target and then you'll miss your melee. You won't miss them that much when you have traction on, because as soon as you land, you can just start bobbing and weaving, dodging ads, get right back to the melee, smash them, get your health back, get your melee back, and just keep going. You get that height that the terminal velocity will be kicking in on the 29th. So like I said, everything on this build perfectly fine-tuned to that buff update, and for the recharge rates of whatever subclass tree you choose to go with for your Arc Titan. And you know me, dudes, I'm all about getting the most kill numbers, the more kills, the more loot. That's all I build for, to be the fastest, most useful, efficient player on any fire team that I want to be on. So if you want to be on that level, bros, copy the builds, get used to playing with them. Maybe you need some practice at first with it, maybe not. But anyways, this thing is finally tuned to make you a complete beast. That's pretty much it, bros. That is your Titan Smasher build, the motherfucking Supercell. Enjoy it, bros. And also, if you want to become a part of the community, you can also go to my channel, go to the About section, scroll down, go to Discord, Become Beast, click on that, download the app, and you can learn everything that you want to know about Destiny 2. You got Bungie Twitter, This Week at Bungie, Destiny the game, what's it tests, what's Banshee have. You can read all this stuff. What are Spider's daily wares? Everything you want to know about the game. There's even a Destiny LFG, a nice community we have going, dudes. So definitely hope to see you there. You can also check me out on live from PlayStation, as well as hundreds of other build videos and tutorials that I have on my channel. So just scroll down. There's probably something you can find useful in there, bros. But that is it for me. I am Ristopolis, and I will see y'all on the update. Let me know what you think about the build, and I'll check y'all next time in space.